What's going on, everyone? Noah FTW123 here, coach of the New England Pidgeots, are back for Season 14 of the PWC Wi-Fi League. Last season didn't end the way we wanted, but we are coming back full force this season with a brand new squad and a lot of confidence. This season, I sadly ended up with the sixth pick in the draft, which I think is one of the worst spots in a draft that you can draft at. But I think I made the most of it and what we can do with it. So, like every season, including this season, the PWC, or the Pokemon World Circuit, we are required to draft a signature Pokemon that has to come to every match and serves as our only Terra Captain. So that's where we're going to start off. So without further ado, let's jump into the team breakdown this season. So our signature captain, or our signature Pokemon and Terra Captain this season is Inteleon. Last season, I ran a slow, bulky physical attacker in Glastrier, and I wanted to go the exact, complete opposite direction. And Inteleon is just that, with 120 base speed and 125 special attack. The goal is to use Inteleon as a fast Terra Sweeper with the flexibility. It's great because of the flexibility of items like Specs, Scarf, Life Orb, and Expert Belt, depending on how much damage we're needing to do, if we're going to need to outspeed other Scarf Mons, etc. And it has great coverage with Water, Ice, Dark, Ghost, and Flying typing, but with the Terra, we can customize it to whatever we need with Terra Blast. And this was the sixth pick, so afterwards we were pick. There's only 10 people drafting, so probably 15, I think. Yes, 15. So, with the 15th pick in the draft, I grabbed Meowscarada. And I think Meowscarada pairs perfectly with Inteleon. It really helps to really get that Fire, Water, Grass core going. And Meowscarada is one of the strongest and scariest draft Pokemon right now, with its protein, ability, elite speed, and its incredible coverage. Oops. It works great with Choice Scarf, Choice Band, or Boots. One, I am needing to pivot a lot. There really aren't many Pokemon in the league that can naturally outspeed both Meowscarada and Inteleon. Now at this point, we have two pretty frail Mons defensively, so I really wanted to get a Mon that can help us have more bulk on the team. And with that pick, I went with Zapdos. Zapdos is an excellent bulky tank, especially with pivot moves like U-turn or Volt Switch, depending on ground types they have. And its typing is excellent, with flying weakness being covered by its electric typing, no ground weakness because of flying, and rock and ice type Pokemon really aren't that common in draft. Now, it's a great pivot option with Meowscarada being able to go back and forth, and it's usually running Boots because of that flying typing. What the fudge? Did I just hit? Oh. And on top of the bulk, it has 125 special attack and 100 speed. So we're chilling with a pretty fast team right now. Next up, I wanted to even get us another Pokemon, and that is Pecharunt. This Petron really helps us more on the defensive side than a special defensive. With its 160 base defense stats and 88 HP, which is nothing to scoff at. Pretty 88 across the board, and everything else is great. And it's great at spreading poison and lowering stats with parting shot and pivoting with parting shot. Its goal here is to take hits and do some damage to the other team. Now, a steel type sucks against it, of course. So, we have to look in the future to deal with some steel types, right? My next pick in the draft, I really wanted to get a hazard remover because I felt like since we're doing Wi-Fi, there's no defog really in the game. So Zapdos doesn't get defog like it does in national decks. So we're really needing a hazard removal at this point. And I still wanted to get some bulk on our team with the lack of bulk Inteleon and Meowscarada have. And I chose Blastoise. And like I said, the main reason we got Blastoise was for hazard control. With Rapid Spin, with one of the few Rapid Spin mons, we can remove hazards easily with running boots. But we can also do so many different things with Blastoise, because it gets Roar and Dragon Tail to help get set up sweepers off the field. It also has Flip Turn for pivoting. And even if we want to go offensive with Blastoise, we have Shell Smash. And to really help us set up and get some big damage out there. And Blastoise is just an awesome bulky mon. Can even go Assault Vest. I've used Blastoise a few times in leagues, and I think Blastoise is a great defensive and offensive mon when needed. Next up, I really wanted to go with a mon with a lot of flexibility. See what we can do to trick our opponents. And with that, I went Cobalion. I think Cobalion is a jack of all trades mon. This man can do everything and anything needed. It can set up and sweep with Sword Stance, Iron Defense, or Rock Polish. It can act as a bulky Volt Switch pivot like Zapdos, and it can even set hazards if needed. And its stats are pretty all around. I think special defense being its lowest at like 70 something. It does lack like huge attack, which sucks sometimes, but still 90 base is not too bad. And especially when we have set up moves like Sword Dance, or it can do Body Press, Iron Defense. And it has 108 base speed, which we can boost with Rock Polish to even outspeed some mons. And our next Pokemon also fits being versatile, doing a lot of different things that we could be lacking in this team so far. And that Pokemon is Mesprit. I think Mesprit is a great versatile mon because of its, I think it's 105 attack, defense, special attack, and special defense. So with great just all-around stats, we can run it bulky either way, defensively or special defenses. Get up rocks with some hazard setting, and we can even support the team with Healing Wish, being able to heal our sweepers back up if they take a lot of damage, and get some momentum back with Healing Wish. Or it can even sweep on its own with setup moves like Calm Mind. And I think at this point of time, we have a lot of different variety with the last three picks. Like, what set can they bring against us to make us feel the most punished with our opponents? And I think it's going to be hard to game plan for these last three picks: Mesprit, Cobalion, and Blastoise. Now, I was very surprised this mon was still here in the 8th round. And This mon has one of the best typings defensively in the game, being Tinkaton. Crazy to be here this late. I really still needed a fairy, and I was looking at the board like, what is still there that can help us check major threats, like a dragon type or another fairy. And Tinkaton, our goat, was still there. Don't even know how. I've always seen this mon go in like round 4 or 5 in draft leagues, but it lasted till round 8. So I picked it up, and it was funny because the person drafting before me, or was the next pick after me, was, his name is like Tinkaton as well, or like is a play on Tinkaton, and he said he was about to draft him, so sniped him, and I am super glad we got this because he is here to check the major threats and support the offensive core of Meowscarada and Inteleon. And I think he really helps the defensive core out. You know, we got Cobalion, but it's still neutral against Fairy and Psychic and fighting. With even with the Steel typing, it's weak to fighting, and Tinkaton with its Fairy typing and Steel typing resist those typings that we are lacking. And we get to round 9, and I'm like, man, I did not draft a ground type yet. So, looking at the board, I was like, I think we had like 25 points left for these last 3 mons, and I really wanted something that is good in the cases that we need to bring it because of a strong, powerful electric type. And luckily for me, I think one of the best budget options available for ground types was still there, being Gligar. Gligar is the GOAT at dealing with electric types, with its with Eviolite and its bulky defenses already on top of just being able to add the Eviolite to it, makes him extremely bulky, able to set up hazards like spikes and stealth rocks, has knockoff to knock off items, and has U-turn to pivot. Like, one of the best ground types in my opinion. I mean, Score is obviously better with Poison Heal, but Gligar can still do almost all the same things with Roost. And the best part is that we have a lot of mons that can already handle ice and water type attacks with Blastoise and Tinkaton and Cobalion. So I think it was a great addition to get here. And we get to round 10, and I'm like, man, I drafted a lot of speed-heavy mons. Our lowest speed at this point was 78 with Blastoise, and I was really worried that a Trick Room team could definitely sweep us pretty easily. Especially Glastrier did get picked up as a Terra Captain again, of course. One of the best Terras in the game. So I wanted to get something a bit slow. And we had not that many flying or ice resists. Although we have the 2 water types and the 2 steel types. But we still had Gliscor and Meowscarada and Zapdos weak to ice. So we got our boy Garganacl. I think Garganacl is one of the best bulky mons with recovery, iron defense, and can just do huge passive damage with Salt Cure. And with its ability, Purifying Salt, doesn't get hit by grass moves, can't be status. One of the great abilities in the game. So it's a huge defensive backbone for this team. You may be wondering at this point, Noah, why is there so many defensive mons on this team? And you have 1 pick left. Who knows how many points you have? Well, let me tell you. I had 12 points left. I saved some points for the last pick so that we can basically choose what we want. Everyone else in the last round was at like I think like 3 or less points, but we were sitting on 12. So we got our pick at whatever 12 pointer or less we wanted. And earlier I mentioned a fire water grass core, and we don't have a fire type yet. So we got our boy Volcarona. Volcarona, I think, is one of the most underrated mons in draft. A lot of people hate on him because of the 4 times weakness to rocks and rocks being super prevalent in draft. But I think I got one of the best spinners to help with that, with its pivoting ability in Blastoise, to help get rid of rocks when needed for Volcarona to come in and sweep with Quiver Dance. Being able to get a +1 in 3 of your stats with a setup move is amazing. I think Quiver Dance is one of the best setting up moves in the game. And like, we can go boots if we want to, if we're really, really worried about rocks, which our first week we might be because we are going against Tinglu. But I believe dude is a massive threat and really fills out our team with 100 base speed. So it's right in that perfect speed tier, I think, to really help us out offensively. So that's it. That's our draft. Inteleon, our Terra captain, Meowscarada, Zapdos, Pidgeot, Blastoise, Cobalion, Mesprit, Tinkaton, Gligar, Garganacl, and Volcarona. Our New England Patriots for this year. And hopefully we do well. Our first game will be coming out next week. We do play, I'm trying to remember, Pyrotech and his Super Score Bunnies. So, video will be dropping probably early next week, as I battle later this week. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed our team breakdown this year. And we will be back for our battles. See ya.